Welcome, StarCraft community, to Improved Analysis, Episode 3, The Catalyst. So today we're talking about how to find the first mistake in your gameplay that snowballs out of control and results in game-ending scenarios, like huge pushes that you just can't hold, that kind of thing. So we're going to both work forwards and work backwards. So we'll start working backwards. So we'll start at the final push number 5, which this Zerg, my teammate, Nightmare, was unable to hold because of damage that was sustained earlier in the game. So we can see here, he's making banelings. He's got his queens in position. He's trying to buy time. He's not going to be able to buy time. And my push is just too strong at this moment. So he's not going to be able to hold. The game is already over. It's been decided earlier. So now we're going to jump one step back, see maybe did he sustain enough damage in the previous attack? Was that the attack that caused that final push to do too much damage? So we'll see here, he's making banelings. I've got mostly adepts. If we look at the supply though, the Protoss player is much more ahead in terms of supply. You can see here also the Protoss player's splits are decent, doesn't take massive damage to the banelings in the initial engagement. Going to move forward, kill off the queens, and then finally, in a move of desperation, drones are going to be pulled, extending the advantage that was already there before this fight. So this fight really just secures the fact that the next push is going to be the one that ends the game. So we need to even go back further and see maybe was it something that happened just before this? Was it the third push that actually ended up dealing game-ending damage, or was the catalyst mistake? So we're going to go back to the third attack and see if that was the one. So here we're going to have a little sentry adept immortal push, and I'm going to tell you in advance, this is not the push that deals the damage. Protoss is a little bit ahead on supply, but if you look at the army compositions, not very many tech units from Zerg, a lot of Lings, and the fact is that if you're fighting with sort of low tier units like just massed Ling, you should have a lot more of them at this point in the game. So something must have gone a little bit wrong earlier in the game to cause this. So that's basically the process you'd use to work backwards if you're trying to find the mistake. What you want to do is start at the final push and go back and say, okay, where was the damage sustained so that this final push couldn't hold? Now we're going to take the opposite approach. You're starting at the beginning of the game and looking for where's the first mistake. This is my personal favorite method. Where was the first mistake that happened? And did that mistake snowball to allow the final situation to occur, which was a bunch of Archons, Zealots, not enough Zerg. So here we go, from the start. So we can see the first adept is out. It's just poking, killing a couple Zerglings, but it's not going to be able to do too much damage. The Queen and the Zerglings are going to zone it away, and it's going to have to go home. So here Protoss is following up the first Scout Adept with Glaives, and going to be adding 2 more gates on. Zerg is also going for Overlord speed to give some reliable scouting, and the Overlord is actually, at that moment, going to go into the main and be able to scout the double gate and the Glaives. And so Zerg has full scouting information, has the ability to completely react to what's coming, and spoilers, is going to hold the very first push exceptionally well. He's going to trade really well with his Zerglings. The Adepts are all going to die with only killing 2 drones, and so he's going to have a successful hold just because of his scouting information. So we'll see here, when the push moves out now, that a Ling immediately dies and scouts it, even before it gets to the ramp. So already the Zerg is capable of producing Lings, moving his queens into position, that kind of thing. So you can see here, the queens are here to zone away the initial Adepts, so that those can't walk into the third. His Lings are here following the shades. They get decent spot on the ramp. It would have been better if he could have had even a number of Lings on the top and the bottom, but as we're going to see in a second, if we look at resources lost, Zerg will have traded more efficiently in this trade. He's going to lose 2 drones here in his main, and then the depths are going to go down. So Zerg loses 800 minerals, Protoss loses 1,000 resources. So 200 gas, 800 minerals. Good trade for the Zerg, right? So now the second push is going to come, a follow-up adept timing of 6 adepts. But these adepts aren't going to be spotted by a ling. They're going to be spotted mid-map by his small amount of lings that are remaining from the first push. That lack of scouting right there was the catalyst. See, he didn't have time to move his queens right into position. He doesn't have time to produce another round of lings to be able to absorb the adepts. And the adepts are going to get really good position in his main base and start killing drones. So those are the 2 methods you can use to work forwards or backwards to find the mistake. Either work backwards from the final push and work until you think that, oh, this is the mistake that caused the endgame scenario, or work forwards from the beginning of the game and see, when did I make a mistake? Oh, I made a mistake when I didn't send a ling out immediately after the first timing, or didn't scout with an overlord to check. What is his follow-up? Did he make 3 sentries? Am I going to be safe? Can just drone? So let's go from the beginning again and just talk about it. We'll just review. Push number 1 does nothing. Full scout for the Zerg. He perfectly holds. Good trade in terms of resources. Second attack, unscouted. That's the catalyst. That's the mistake that ends up, he loses 10 additional drones, 12 drones in total, trades all his lings, and then the remaining 3 attacks in the game wear the Zerg down very slowly. So it's like every attack kills off all of his army, so he can't make tech units, can't make tech structures, can't make defenses, and then the 4th attack crushes his drones, and then as we see here in push number 5, the Zerg is just vastly outnumbered by this point. Archons come in, Zealots come in, Protoss OP. There's no way to hold at this point because mistakes were made earlier. So I really hope that this video was helpful to you guys. I think finding the first mistake that is the catalyst for the game-ending damage is really important. It's helped me improve a bunch. So I hope you liked the video. This is Improved Analysis with Dead Zerg, Episode 3. Episode 4 will come out next week, and I hope to see you then.